Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all, so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world, okay? So, what do we do? 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. My juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, we must continue to watch the old batteries, my delicious little babies. Now then, so the time is, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, it's nearly 20 to 12. So it's still a morning in our old England, my delicious little babies. Okay, I've got an itch there. Anyway, my delicious little babies. And yes, so the sun has got his hat on, hip, 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 hooray. Yeah, so the sun is out. Rather windy today, but it is dry. Okay, my delicious little babies. It is actually a bit chilly as well, my delicious little babies. Okay, so well, that's the weather forecast. Okay, now then, so I have. Sorry. Oh, a surprise. Now then, my delicious little babies. So I have one piece of information, but I also want to have a little natter as well, my delicious little babies. Now, what it is, you see, I was out walking this morning, my delicious little babies, and on the floor there was a tiny little square little, like one of those little post-it notes, but it was even smaller, like somebody had made it into a tiny little square, and it happened to say Abraham, and then question mark, my delicious little babies. Well, I mean, right, I've been doing my best to follow as much as what I can as regards to this situation to do with Abraham Trail, okay, and he had a recent visit to Russia, I do believe, my delicious little babies. Well, what my issue is here, my delicious little babies, okay? Now, as I have mentioned to you, my delicious little babies, that a few times now, Mr. Gaddafi, bless him, has came right up to me, not in that way, not in that way. This is on a spiritual level, my delicious little babies, and he's came straight up to me. Now, usually, my beautiful dear little spirit, they could be ancestors, my beautiful dear little ancestors. They could be a beautiful dear little, and family members who have, all very sadly passed away. Could be my beautiful dear, because they're also beautiful, my beautiful dear little friends, okay, who very sadly passed away. And, but then, of course, from time to time, I will get, who's in the public eye. So I will have, somebody come forward to myself, okay? Now, they do not speak, but they show like expressions on their faces, okay, my delicious little babies. So, and each time that Mr. Gaddafi came to visit myself, okay, so thank you to you all, my little beautifuls, how I love you all. So, well, he's clearly, I feel, wanting, there we are, to point something out, my delicious, there we are, little babies, okay? Maybe there's something that he's not quite happy with, my delicious little babies. So getting back to what I was just saying now, not that I'm all about, I try to follow what's going on the best way I can, my delicious little babies, okay? But what my issue is why should, really any leader go to another country? Because what my thoughts are is that everybody really should run, their own countries. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Now, Abraham Traore is very, he's younger, okay? And for myself, talking on a personal level, I would really hate to see, maybe things change now. There we are. Do you see? Like, somebody could start out being, super duper meaning well. But then as time goes on, do you see? Okay? Now, what we must also remember is that, all in all different countries, like I say, apart from the few who know nothing about what's going on, my delicious little babies, are working, there we are, for one. Do you see what, there we are? Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, so no, I may not be super duper brilliant at geopolitical. No, I clearly am not. But I know that we are enough to know that there we are. I smell something. There we are. My delicious little babies. There we are. Do you say? Okay. So that is my thoughts there. Now, I'll repeat once again, out of leaders, as far as leaders go, I would say that, and I've always said this, that Mr. Putin is one of the few who actually does happen to talk, there we are, common sense, my delicious little babies. However, we also have to, there we are, remember who's zooming who. Okay? Now, for myself, I just believe that in each country, we all have our own resources. We all have our own, there we are, resources. So why does one country have to buy, there we are, from another? And why did we have to, especially in our old England, my delicious little babies, okay, well, anyway, other countries have experienced it. Born in the USA, they've had problems as well, my delicious little babies, the same as there we are other countries have, okay, where it appears that you can only buy, there we are, from one or something like this now then. I mean, there we are, how is this fair? My delicious little babies, well, it's not fair, is it? Do you say? So there we are. I'm still not, there's a lot of things now, there we are, for even say that I'm not trusting. I'm just not trusting it, my delicious little babies, okay? So whatever reason that was put down on the floor, my delicious little babies, okay? There we are, I'm just questioning. And ones have to look at the assassinations, there we are, that have gone on over the decades. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So, are they saying on this little slip, this little post-it note, just question it? Yes, I'm questioning because for myself, Mr. Gaddafi, there we are, has come to me a few times now. There we are. So he's trying, there we are, to warn, there we are, about something. There we are. You see what I mean, okay? Because, I mean, even if you look, Mr. Gaddafi, I'm not saying that he was perfect. We cannot say nobody on this earth is perfect. If we were all perfect, then the world, there we are, would be a pretty boring place. Do you understand what I mean? Yes, okay? But it shows, and I've looked into this, okay? How ones, there we are, it's like a grooming, there it is, a grooming process. There we are. Okay, now for those of you who do know My Little Beautifuls, then you will know this, but for others, they may not have known a lot about it, but it just goes to show that for some leaders, when they're no longer required, shall we say, it's a bit like, what is it, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? What's that one? Was she a young lass? It was the original one, the original film, My Delicious Little Babies, like where she went down the chute. It's like that. There we are, My Delicious Little Babies. Do you know? So it's just, I'm just finding a way, there we are, to say it. Well, there's no real nice way of saying, is there? In other words, well, just a simple thing, get to the point, really. At the end of the day, if you're no longer in use or you're not, there we are, playing the game, then other things are going to happen, isn't it? So I'm just questioning why all of this was taking place. That's what I'm asking. That's all. I mean, some may call me, that I'm acting just a figure of speech, that maybe I'm a little bit thick now. I do not believe that I am, My Delicious Little Babies. Do you see what I mean? There we are. I'm questioning it. Okay? So what my worry, rewind and start again, stumbling there, not changing my video. So what my worry would be is that somebody who has good intentions, there we are, to begin with, then gets sort of brought, see, I'm all cold here, my room is warm, then gets led down a different path. Do you see? That's all that I'm saying, okay? So whoever put that little post-it note there we are, there's the answer. I'm not trusting it. Okay. And I noticed that one seemed to be showing tip-tops. Yeah, I've been noticing that as well. Very little escapes my attention, my delicious little babies. I'm not talking to yourselves, my little beautifuls, okay? And they're dropping like little tip-tops. Well, I mean, come on. As anybody would know. Soft drinks, there we are. There's a number of things now that is, let's just say, has other ingredients in it. Do you know what I mean? But, it's a big seller. All over the world. Do you see what I mean? I've said before and I repeat again, Cinemix. You only have to duck, go it, please, and thank you, my little beautifuls. Do you see what I mean, okay? Years ago, admittedly, I did not know about this years ago, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm guilty of this myself. There we are. I am guilty of this myself. I'll be the first one to say it because I never looked into it. Do you see what I mean? And that's just being honest. But once you do, there we are, you just never forget. Do you see what I mean? And this is something I'll never forget. So when I see ones, I mean, it's up to everybody else what they do in their lives. It's not my business. I'm not buying their tip-tops. Do you know what I mean? Okay, they're, buying their own tip-tops, aren't they? But do you see what I'm saying? But there's a lot more, there we are, ingredients that go into this. There's rather a lot. And I don't know whether you notice the chocolate. I'm back onto this again, my delicious little babies. Like I remember when, a chocolate bar, a Cadbury's one, actually. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it'll be all over YouTube, one's talking about different chocolates. My video should not be deliberately flipping picked out. Do you see what I mean? Okay? Where chocolate was chocolate. Well, it's not anymore. Well, I personally do not buy it. How I noticed it was I watched somebody else. I said, just run that under the tap for a moment, please, and thank you. Just to see. And the water, there we are, was bouncing off the chocolate. So how does that work then? Never used to do that before. Could it be that the ingredients of, there we are, somewhat changed? There we are, to a degree. Or maybe there we are, somebody's cutting corners. Okay, so, there we are, there's all these things now. Now, I'd like to change the subject again. I'm going to get back to WhatsApp. Right, and I kept meaning to mention it and I kept flipping forgetting it. Right, so I'm noticing now, right, it's coming up with now a folder, like it's like a little grey folder, okay? So if you're not too careful, like, I send out videos, of different what I advertise and that, and the small who's in my dog and burn, I send the videos to who I feel, there we are, will have some form of an interest, or if it's going to be informative, okay? And but if you're not careful, you could accidentally click on that. Well, where's that going to? There we are, it's just a question, where's it going to? It says folder, and then you've got this, like before, if you wanted, to search, but now it says, what is it, meta, or search. And then if you click on search, right, well, what happens? And then it comes up with this reel of all this flipping whatever it is, just to get you to, no, I don't trust any of it. I've been talking about, there we are, I've been talking about, see, I've got nothing across my shoulder, that means no, sorry, I've got nothing across my shoulders now. I've been talking about this a long time, for months. There we are, about older WhatsApp. So something very much is changing. There we are, my delicious little babies. I just do not trust that either. Do you know what I mean? Okay? And, what my thoughts are is that ones have got used, which naturally ones would, they would get used to using WhatsApp because I feel that it's private and everything. Oh, yeah. It was private, all right, with our putrid flipping effing governments in old England, my delicious little babies. Oh, yeah. Weren't so private then, was it? My delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So we have to, there we are, keep our eyes on all of this, my delicious, there we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like things are just, there we are, they're just moving, there we are, super duper fast. And I feel that they're herping that we do not notice. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Now then, so this one piece of information, so yeah. So this is what I've got to say, yeah. So this uploader, I have mentioned him a few times now, actually, and there we are. And the reason why I'm going to mention it is because, he's actually banging out, there we are, some very good videos, my delicious little babies, okay? So he's now up to 1.52 million in the old space bar, in old YouTube, my delicious little babies, the capital T, space, capital J, Jimmy, capital D, door, and then capital S, show. So it should read the space, Jimmy space, door space, show. But it's DORE. okay? Not like a door that one walks through, okay? My delicious little babies, okay? I wasn't being sarcastic, it's just that, you know, there's a couple of ways, well, there's a few ways of spelling the word door, isn't there, my delicious little babies, okay? Now then, this video should read, the video. Now, it is 2 hours, 6 minutes and so many seconds long now, delicious little babies. And I've listened to it this morning, okay? It was uploaded a day ago, okay? And it should read how 21 trillion went missing from US taxpayers. Catherine Austin Fitz, okay? Full interview. Okay, my delicious little baby. So I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? How 21 trillion went missing from US taxpayers. Catherine Austin Fitz. Full interview. Okay, my delicious little babies. I tell you what, there we are. You are going to find this. There we are. An extremely, there we are, banging video. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay? It is not. So we're going to tick you off, Jimmy Dore. And our lovely, you know, with anybody not in that way, our lovely Catherine Austin Fitz. I've seen Catherine, there we are, on other videos, my delicious little babies. Me, myself, personally, there we are, I find her to be extremely interesting and very knowledgeable, actually. Okay? So, yeah, you know, there we are, she certainly knows her stuff, bless her. Okay? And in this video, there we are, it is complete common sense. It is complete common sense. So for ones who sat back watching, and there are quite a few of us now, it seems to be building, my delicious little babies, okay? Very good, very good. There we are, there we are, see? But what dear Catherine says, now I'm going to close my book. Ones must remember to go back to where we need to go back to. Just put my book over there. Now then, my delicious little babies. So, you see, with dear Catherine, bless her, she's talking to her Jimmy, bless him, okay? What she's saying is, you know, she wants to see, there we are, the proof. And I totally, there we are, agree. It's like, you know, ones need to see the proof. It's an old-fashioned saying, my delicious little babies, okay? They want to see the proof in the pudding. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? Ones just do not want to, these are my words, my delicious little babies. Ones simply do not want to listen to, there we are, empty words. Okay, my delicious little babies, because that is not good. We are not alike in that for any of us, my delicious little babies, okay? And this business as well, where what's Trouble Trump and what's his name? That flipping putrid netting Yahoo, okay? Oh yeah, where, you know, they're not talking, whatever this is. Well, quite frankly, my delicious little babies, okay? I totally agree anyway. It's just my thoughts, my delicious little babies. You know, this is, you know, my saying, okay? I just don't believe the bullshit. What I believe is happening here, more and more, there we are starting to see where things now are really, there we are, getting, let's just say, rather rocky. That's just came to my nod. It's getting rather rocky, okay? That's not sarcastic at all to the dear in Gaza or anything like that. Not at all, okay? I did not mean it that way, okay? What I meant is that, you know, if you really look at it, yes, these now in their stage in the Oval Office in Bonn in the USA, well, they must have clearly thought to themselves that us out here, you and I, my delicious little babies, okay, we're just going to, there we are, sit back, you know what I mean, very nicely now, to sit back while they conduct this putrid business, okay, plus bringing in all of these different things now, okay, and that everybody's just going to sit here, there we are, and just put up with this shite. No, we are not. Okay? So at the end of the day, and this is where I feel, there we are, it is rocky. Because, like I said yesterday, and I'm going to keep repeating it if I have to, that where the numbers were all, so sky high for Mr. Trouble Trump. Okay, well, no. Because at the end of the day, if you're just going to be doing things now, there we are, in everybody's birth races, there we are, blatantly, you know, when ones of a rather large number have verted you in, okay? And not to mention around the world, you know, there's ones in all different countries, there we are, who are passing comments, there we are, on this, what I regard as putrid behaviour. My delicious little babies, do you see what I'm saying? Because it is. You know, and they're trying to lock there we are, to lock everybody in, right? They're just trying to use, there we are, a different system now. That's all it is. But they want everybody just to be in the same pot, just to figure a speech. My delicious little babies, they just want everybody, there we are, just in the same pot. Do you see what I mean, okay? But like I say, I just do not believe that this is going very well at all. And I will stand, there we are, by my belief. You see what I mean, okay? Because this is what happens when ones try to dictate, there we are, to not only their own country, bless, but there we are, all over the world. Do you know what I mean? Ones, there we are going to get Marty, there we are, paid off. My delicious little babies, do you see what I'm saying, okay? And it's only a good job, bless, that you've got dear Catherine, and you've got all others, you know, then you've got the large platforms, you know what I mean? Jimmy Dawes, and then you've got Redacted, you know, and then you've got, I mean, they're all lovely. Lovely davidike.com. You know, then you've got dear Stu Peters, you know, with his Rumble network, okay? You got as well, oh, bless him, lovely the space David space Nat, you know, as in Nights in White Satin, and then space show. Oh, I think he's had a surgery, bless him. Well, I hope that you get better, dear David. Okay, because I like listening to the David Nat show. Do you know what I mean? And of course, he's on Rumble as well, my delicious little babies. Okay, and of course, you've also got our dear oh bless, Mornings with Malcare. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, so you know, because she as well goes deeper into, you know, what's going on and what's gone on over, there we are, the decades and things like this now then, okay? So again, another, you know, they're all excellent uploaders, my delicious little babies, okay? But, you know, if you're doing things now, blatantly, there we are, in everybody's birth races, okay? And I do not trust that coin either. I've heard about this before, this coin to do with Trouble Trump, but I don't trust that either. Okay, it's just another way, there we are, to lock you in. You see what it is, and I'm going to go back to it again. China, it's like the one to everybody. Nothing against personally the Chinese. Like I said, I have to make this point here. I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to. This is nothing personal against the actual populations in China or America or anywhere else. Okay, it's just I'm just pointing something out now. That if they're going to, and I'm not shouting at you, my delicious babies. I mean, I do have a habit of speaking loud anyway, my delicious babies. I've always been the same, okay? If you never saw me, you'd surely flipping hear me. But what it is that they want everything to go one way. You know, like China. Here we are. And I've been talking about it for months and months and months and months on my videos. My delicious little babies, there we are. Yes, I have. And others, bless them, have as well. You see what I mean? If they were to ever get that far, which I certainly do not believe they will, has anybody ever heard of that old-fashioned saying? It's a very old saying. I think I said it months ago, actually. it's like at the 11th hour. Very old fashioned, decades and decades ago. Very old fashioned saying, at the 11th hour. You see? There we are. So, if they were to be able to pull it off, which I'm going to say again, no, they will not pull it off. And we can only thank our, you know, lucky stars, because I do, my delicious little babies, because I do not have all of these, professional qualifications and everything, you know what I mean? But there have been, well, to be perfectly honest, my delicious little babies, I never ever wanted any. That's not been disrespectful to any, in a professional role. It's just that for myself, no, I've sort of, learned, another way. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And with myself, when you do things with your hands and everything, do you understand what I mean? So I'm very much that way as well, whether it be cooking or when I was in jewelry or when I was, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So therefore for myself, and of course, doing my little sewing classes, which I'll be back at in September. But you know what I mean? I'm sort of more that way, if you know what I mean, okay? But of course, you do have, thousands, millions of others in the world where they prefer or they are very academic. Do you see what I mean? But there are a lot, bless them, and I will say that, who are speaking up about this. Because really, well, it's not really. I'm done saying it, my delicious little babies. This affects, there we are, every single one of us. Okay? And of course, if one's, put it this way, have what they call like a free, well, whatever one calls free, I suppose, some form of free laugh. Like they can, I don't know, go to a takeaway or, outlet or something and just go and buy a burger or go and buy chicken or, something like this now then. Well, if that system was in place, see, I'm stumbling again. If that system was in place, my delicious little babies, well, bang goes all of those, that some would call niceties, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? So, well, simple things. See, I'm stumbling again on this. They won't be able to do any of that. I mean, this is very serious. So, you see, you give somebody a tiny bit of power, there we are, and they want the whole lot. There we are. And more. And some more. And this is why, very sadly, we're in the chat. There we are. That we're flipping damn well in. There we are. Because of this. I mean, excuse myself. I was talking to somebody. Sorry. Excuse myself. Sorry. I was talking to somebody this morning. Oh, bless you. I was out walking. And I was talking about the zazums up in the sky. And they were there blatantly, for all to see. It's so blatant. It's unreal. And somebody did say to me, bless them, said, well, we cannot do anything about it. See, so I do talk to many when I'm out walking, my delicious little babies, okay? And I talk about all different subjects, my delicious little babies, okay? But the thing that's for myself that I found is that we're just not on the same wavelength, to be perfectly honest, my delicious little babies. Okay, so ones are just not really wanting to, let's just say, engage in any form of conversation, unless it's, oh, yes, the weather's nice today, or, you know what I mean, or I don't know. So if you wanted to talk about, I don't know. I'm just using examples now, just throwing, thoughts out. Football, or, if you're just talking about everyday things now, well, ones will, happily talk about that. You know what I mean? But anything that gets on to a deeper level, I found myself over many, 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 many years, not just months, years, they're just not quite so comfortable with it. My delicious little babies, okay? And this happens to be, there we are, on a regular basis, you know? So bless who it was. They said, well, we cannot do anything about it. So I said, yes, we can. I've been long time, there we are, saying this. There we are, years I've been saying it for. I said, yes, we can. I said, if we all get together and we say, no, we do not comply. Do you see what I mean? But it was very clear to myself, bless them, do you know what I mean? But it was very clear to myself. I said, anyway, maybe it's just too early in the morning for you, my little lovely, you know what I mean, to have that form of conversation. But this is what, and I will say that the putrid governments around the world, as in old England and around the world, it's like the brought ones, bless them, there we are, that they feel, it's a figure of speech, my delicious little babies, to their knees. Do you see what I mean, okay? But there's more and more and more now who are talking about this. Is there another one yet? No, you see, now you're seeing all the clouds coming now, my delicious little babies, okay? And then on my dog and bone, it'll say, like today, it said London cloudy. And then over the days, it said London will be warmer than something like will be warmer than it has been. Or this is just silly nonsense now on a dog and bones. Do you see what I mean? Okay, I mean, come on. I mean, if ones cannot see by now, that's how would they know what the weather forecast is? I've been done, there we are, saying this, there we are, for so many years. Okay, there we are, I have. But for a lot, like I say, all I ever did was just laugh at me. Just found it utterly hilarious. And that's the truth. Yeah. Just never believed really a word that I said. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But this is the state of things now, And, I mean, I'm not going to say anything against, who said that to myself, we cannot do anything about it, because it's like that's how they've made ones that we all feel. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. But there's another dear elderly lady, actually, and she, she's got a problem with her lower legs. So I'm going to write some information down for this morning, but I've got to wait for the fences to arrive because I've paid, something towards them, and so I've got to pay for your men there now, because they're going to be coming to change the fences, my little lovelies. But I'm going to write all of this down for the dear elderly lady, bless her, because she's in her 90s. I mean, that's good innings. Do you know what I mean? And she's still, I will say, pretty fit for her age. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? But she just said it's just like the lower leg, the arthritis that's getting in. And she said, what did you say again, Carla, that I needed? Because, I was just trying to spare a thought of things that could help her. You know what I mean? With this. So I'm going to write it all down again. Then we're going to see how we get on. But yes, and then I've got another one of my beautiful dear little friends. Yeah, absolutely, bless her. She and bless the dear little elderly lady. And she loves my broccoli soup. So she said, could you please make me some more? I said, yes, I will, because what it is, you see, when you've got the celery in it, you do not taste it so much. But for myself, when I come across, when I'm out walking, and then you mention celery, don't like celery. You mention grapefruit, cannot eat grapefruit. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so ones have to wonder where all of this comes from. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? When I was a wee young lass, I mean, we always had a proper beautiful, and I will say that I was very truly blessed to my heart. We had beautiful food, you know what I mean? And, and of course, I was little, so I used to eat stews and everything like this now then. And it always had everything in it: carrot, onion, celery. Do you know what I mean? All of the wholesome things, and of course, good quality meat, because I was little, I used to eat meat and everything. So, I've been used to that. I was used to from a wee young lass, my dad had cut me and my sister, my younger sister, half a grapefruit each, and it used to be yellow then, but you cannot get the yellow ones. I haven't seen one for years, actually. Okay. And then we used to have a glass of orange juice and a couple of slices of toast. You see what I mean, my delicious babies? And that's when I was really little, like this. Do you see what I mean? So for myself, I can eat it, any day of the week. Do you know what I mean? But I just feel really that I don't know. Everybody's got a different time of there we are when they start to wake up. You see what I mean, my delicious babies? And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but we've got to very sadly wait for some. But at the same time, if there is enough of us, we don't have to be any nasty way. We just say there we are no. Do you see what I mean? But thank goodness for, there's professionals, around the world. There we are, who are trying the best to do, there we are, something about this. Do you see what I mean? Because that's the only way we can do it. You just have to completely push back and just say no. Do you see what I mean? That's the only way that we can go. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? We will not comply to any of this. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, otherwise, we're in a flipping dire, there we are, very bad situation. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, my delicious little babies. So now then. So wherever you are in the world, you got to keep shining that light, shining that light, shining that light, my little honey bunnies, okay? So wherever you are in the world, look at this, I've got 50 of these. That's my delicious babies. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies, okay? Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves, there we are, and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you all so. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. So very much appreciated. It's always welcomed, and I'm most thankful. At least somebody's listening to my videos. How I love you also. So until my next video now, just got to go and get ready now. I've got to move one of the fences, okay? Just keeps moving further and further this way for some strange reason, my delicious little babies. There must be an invisible man somewhere or something, because, it starts off in one part and just keeps edging itself. Do you see what I mean? Clearly somebody is invisible. Anyway, my delicious little babies, so you just take care now. Love you very much. Goodbye.